Guruji, the next question is it true that some people see visions or other things during meditation? If it is, do they mean anything? Do these visions mean anything?
Whatever vision you come across during your meditation, whatever vision you see, that is true. As long as you see them. Because you have never been meditating before. And you have never ever come across any such vision. Now you try to understand the meaning of these visions. When you go to some destination by a train, then on your left and right you see many objects like mountains. There are canals, there are rivers, villages, small ones, big ones, everything. Sometimes there are deserts as well. At many places we cross the signboards reading the name of that village. But we deboard the train only at the station, the ticket of which we have taken, and not before it. So whatever view you come across, whatever you are experiencing, that is only a part of your meditation. It is not your destination. So with lot of zeal and enthusiasm, the way you do window shopping at a mall, exactly the same way. Just enjoy the views, enjoy those experiences, and don't get involved with them. Because these views and experiences are coming to you, you are the one experiencing. So, to the extent it is important, okay, acknowledge it to that extent, but don't get entangled. If you get stuck to villages, in nameplates, hills, in rivers, in lakes and ponds, etc., and you will set yourself down, then you will never reach your desired destination.
Guruji, I want to ask a question. What happens to soul after death? Where does the soul go?
This question is related to spiritualism and not related to it as well. Spiritualism is present continuous. It does not think of past or the future. Because spiritualism is an exercise, it's about obtaining oneself by means of continuous experiences of ongoing present in present time only. This is our destination. The Supreme Soul, our existence, our form, this is experienced, we experience this only in the present form. And you are nothing but your continuous present. Ever present, which has no past, which has no future. He wants to know that after this body comes to the halt, the Supreme Soul, which was inhabiting this body, what happens to that? You must have traveled by plane or you must have traveled by bus. After dropping you at your destination, the bus continues its journey to its destination. Similarly, the flight you had taken for New York or New Delhi, the flight reaches you to New York or New Delhi and flies back to the place where it had started from. This is nothing but a minute scientific fact. Try to experience that very thing. The Supreme Soul, which we know as Vaheguru, which is Shakti according to Shakts, which is Shiv according to Shaivs, which is Saurya according to Sauryas. Only the names of the Supreme Soul is different, the experience is the same. When they take incarnation then this incarnation is experienced by us through various means. Or when this formless, shapeless soul manifests itself in any object, then that object is experienced by us and not the soul itself. You are having your driving license. On this driving license, there is a signature of authority of the RTO. When it is signed by the authority, you know what happens then? If somewhere you are stopped by the traffic policeman, he wants to see the license. He checks the license and checks for the stamp of Government of Guyana and for the signature of the authorized person. So when he asks the question, where is the license? So the license problem is solved. Rest of the inadequacies is a different thing. If you have done anything wrong, which calls for some other penalty, of course you will be challaned. In the same way, when we take a physical form, then by means of consciousness, we get nurtured and grow in the womb of our mother. You must have noticed when a child is born, then here at this place a throbbing goes on. Thuk, 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 thuk. Your hand can feel it, your fingers can feel it. This vibration which you feel here, it is the way in of that sovereign. As you start growing up in a physical way, this portion, this too starts growing up slowly. This densifies gradually and becomes solid. And those people who have started meditation, those who have tried to know themselves, they come across the same very experience. When the person performs the job, and when he does this regularly, and continues doing that for 24 hours, then again, this portion gradually, it starts becoming thin. Because the strength of your prana reaches here and then cut. Like this. And then gradually this portion of the scalp starts getting subtle. I myself have placed my hands here, my fingers here and experienced it. The way you feel the heartbeat. Thuk, 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 thuk. This is the portion where you get an experience like this. It is just like an entrance. The way we place a board somewhere, in and out. Exit, entry. Normally, the entry is made from here through rationality. And when the soul takes birth, comes in physical form, and when it is developed through different stages of life, during this a very subtle process takes place. The semi-conscious mind, the conscious mind, both these minds, conscious and semi-conscious mind, get assimilated into subconscious mind. And the moment this happens, then the incident of death takes place. If the semi-conscious mind and the conscious mind do not become one with the subconscious mind, And if the death takes place, in this situation, the soul is not emancipated. And this is why, owing to one's own desires, individuals fail to orchestrate one's conscious, semi-conscious and subconscious minds properly. And this happens only because the process of delight ceases to happen. Such souls enter into Pishach Yoni. Unless they attain emancipation, unless they attain the flight strong enough to reach them to Pitrilok, they keep wandering. You must have seen many a times a space shuttle in experimental stage because of some fault. After getting launched 100 meters, 200 meters, or after a flight of 10 to 15 kilometers suddenly falls down, comes down like this. Reason? The reason is the design of it, that design has some fault. The fuel with which it was supposed to go beyond the Earth's orbit, there, something wrong took place, and due to lack of energy, it could not go beyond the required limit. In the same way, the conscious mind and the semi-conscious mind, when these two units could not be one with the subconscious mind, then a situation like this arises. Because of the desires and sacraments of those individuals, the Udan Vayu, the upper force which takes him to upper level, since that becomes weak, the semi-conscious mind, the conscious mind, they get stuck and they are not aligned with the subconscious. That is why in different communities and religion, Shraddha and Tarpan, etc., these scientific arrangements have been made, by means of which the soul that has abandoned the body, he could be anyone, he could be any ascetic, or he could be any common man. He may be any devotee or otherwise. In a situation like this, to strengthen their Udan Vayu or the lifting force, different communities and religions have devised a scientific method which they follow religiously. The process of Shraddha and Tarpan is practiced in Hinduism. Muslims too have similar practices. You must have heard somewhere, after a period of 40 days, in Muslims, children are invited from madrasas for Quran recital in the memory of deceased person. And after the Quran recital is over, those children are offered with food, etc. And after this, they are given clothes as well. In the same way, in Christians also, when someone dies, that moment onwards, at the time of supper, that deceased person who is no more with us is remembered and his share is offered to him, that this food is meant for him, an offering of that food is made to him, and they pray for him for few seconds and minutes, remembering that person and the omnipotent for a while. It is prayed that the person who has left us, he was very close and dear to us. May God bless his soul. He finds a place in the heaven, and with all the goodness of it, may he rest in peace with God. Therefore, with true devotion, we pay tribute and the homage respectfully. This is the tradition in Christianity. This tradition is also in Jains, in Buddhism also, in Sikhs as well. When a person dies after his death, when he leaves his physical form, at Gurdwara or at his place where the person breathed his last, Akhand part of Guru Granth Sahib is held there. And after the Akhand part, the bhog is offered. And this offering of bhog is, this is the philosophy of the Shraddha Kriya. In bhog, all the people perform ardas. This is done in the name of that person, the person whose body is at rest. People pray for him. They pray to Vaheguru for the soul's peace, so that it gets all the good things of afterlife. All the prayers like this are associated with Shraddha, so they are Shraddh. Life and death, rebirth, this cycle which we have, unless and until you attain the knowledge, this cycle continues to go on. The day you attain the enlightenment, you just come out of this chain process. Sargunath Maharaj ki jai. You may ask other questions if there is any.
Guruji, we are thoughtless when in meditation.
Come forward, please.
Guruji, my question is that we are thoughtless when in meditation. But there are some thoughts sometimes which we don't want to face. Is there any way to avoid those thoughts without facing them?
Amma, there are two things. The thoughts you have raised the question about. Where do these thoughts come from? You are not aware of that. These thoughts don't have their own existence. Scholars have to say, what is human being?